In this issue, which is from Fantastic Four Volume 4 by Dan Slott, we'll see who is stronger, Hulk or Ben Grimm, also known as the Thing. There's always been an ongoing debate about Hulk vs. Thing, so today we're going to break it down so that everyone gets a clear picture. The story of this issue starts in Reed Richards' lab, where the Thing is asking Reed when he will return to his human form. According to Reed, the transformation happens at a fixed annual time, and exactly 11 hours later, the Thing will change back into Ben Grimm. Since the Thing has already planned a honeymoon vacation with Alicia and they are heading to a beach, Reed ties a cosmic chronometer to his wrist. This device will keep giving him updates about how much time is left until he transforms. Now, as we can see, Alicia is very excited about this trip and keeps telling Ben again and again to pack everything properly. Before they leave, Sue Storm gives them a communicator just in case any emergency comes up. After that, Ben and Alicia say goodbye to everyone and leave for their honeymoon vacation. Ben had picked a very remote island as their honeymoon destination. When they reach there, they are greeted by an organizing staff member who takes them to the house that was picked for them. But the twist comes when that same man steps outside and makes a call to someone, informing them that Ben Grimm and Alicia have arrived, just as expected. Now we'll find out later who he gave this news to. Meanwhile, after freshening up and getting into their vacation clothes, Ben and Alicia go out for a walk along the beach. They are having a very romantic conversation with each other. And Ben, who is especially waiting to become human again, keeps looking at the device Reed tied to his hand to see how much time is left. Adding to that happy moment, Alicia suddenly gets down on her knees like she's proposing and shows Ben a golden ring. Ben also sits down with her, and both of them lovingly look at each other. But suddenly, the sea near the beach shows intense waves. The other people there on vacation feel as if an earthquake just occurred. But then, flying through the air, Hulk lands with a loud crash right in front of the Thing. The Thing is completely shocked, wondering what Hulk is even doing there. When the Thing asks, Hulk only says one thing, that he wants to fight, and he wants it right now. This completely confuses Ben, and he tells Hulk that he doesn't understand what this is all about, but they can't fight here. However, Hulk, as usual, doesn't listen to anyone and insists that the fight will happen here and now. Now, the troubling part is that when Ben looks at the device on his hand, he sees that very little time is left. He immediately realizes that if he starts this fight, he will waste time, and he might transform into his human form in the middle of the fight. And judging by Hulk's behavior, he looks like something unstoppable. Thinking this through, the Thing quickly tells all the innocent people nearby to go inside, including Alicia. Then he stands in front of Hulk, raises his hands, and accepts defeat, saying, "All right, fine. I admit it, you're the strongest one there is. Now let's end all of this." Up until now, Thing hadn't realized why Hulk suddenly showed up and started acting this way. But the real story was that the Puppet Master, who is also Alicia's stepfather, had taken control of Hulk's mind and sent him to kill Thing. And then a fierce battle begins. In the beginning, it's more of a one-sided fight, because Hulk is the only one attacking and smashing everything in sight. Along with that, the surrounding houses start to collapse, and people begin to get hurt as well. Thing just wants Hulk to stop somehow, because if they both end up fighting, it will become a complete disaster for the entire place. So, Thing tells all the people around to leave the area immediately, realizing this won't be easy to stop. He also tells the organizer, the same man they met when they arrived, to help Alicia and the others escape and take them as far away as possible. Hulk, however, doesn't seem to be in any mood to stop smashing. He keeps throwing Thing into the water, onto trees, and even into the mountains. Then he hits a mountain under which all the huts and houses are located, and a massive crash follows. The entire mountain collapses onto the huts below. The people who were trying to escape, as Thing had told them, all get trapped under the debris, Alicia included. Thing tries to remove the rocks and debris one by one, but Hulk doesn't let him, and stops him with more smashing. That's when Thing's anger finally reaches its peak, and he tells Hulk, "If it's a fight you want, then this is going to be the deadliest fight of your life, and now you'll see what I can really do." In the next issue, the story picks up exactly from this point. Although Thing promises to fight Hulk, he first says they need to rescue the people trapped under the debris, including his Alicia. He says that once they are all safe, he'll give Hulk the fight he wants. Now, when Hulk hears Alicia's name, since he is under the Puppet Master's control, he suddenly blurts out, My Alicia is under the debris? And that's when Thing finally understands what's going on. This isn't Hulk's doing. It's all part of the Puppet Master's plan. He's controlling Hulk and sent him to kill Thing. That's when Thing starts truly fighting back, because now it's no longer just about Hulk or the Thing. It's about honor, and about facing the Puppet Master. Meanwhile, the people trapped under the debris can hear the fierce battle going on above them, and many of them feel like this is the end of their lives. But Alicia is there, doing her best to keep everyone's hopes alive. Along with the others, she slowly starts moving and shifting some of the debris from the inside, trying to find a way for them to escape. On the other hand, the fight between Hulk and Thing is still going strong. Hulk continues to overpower Thing, or maybe it's more accurate to say that Thing hasn't even shown his full strength yet. Anyway, with one powerful punch, Thing is sent flying and lands far away on the beach. He quickly looks at the device on his hand and sees that only a few milliseconds are left before he transforms into his human form. Well, thankfully Alicia and the others do manage to escape from under the debris, but it seems like Thing is on the verge of losing. Alicia runs to Thing, who has already accepted defeat and feels like in just a few seconds, he'll turn into his human form and Hulk will end up killing all of them. But after Alicia encourages him, Thing stands up one last time. This time, he decides that this will be the final hit. Either he wins, or it's over. Hulk charges at him with full force, while Thing looks at the countdown on the device Reed gave him, then clenches his fist and delivers a punch. Such a punch that honestly, if we're being real, it deserves to be called the God of Punches. It's so powerful that Thing ends up shattering his own hand. The device Reed had strapped to his wrist also breaks off and flies away with it. After this devastating punch, Hulk finally falls, but Thing, now transformed back into Ben Grimm, his human form, collapses at the same time right next to him. A week later, when Thing finally wakes up in Reed's lab, everyone is gathered there waiting for him to regain consciousness. When Thing asks what happened, Johnny Storm tells him that they were only able to find out about him and Alicia thanks to the communicator Sue had given them earlier. Thing immediately remembers Hulk, but Sue tells him that by the time they reach the island to help, Hulk had already left. Thing now has a vibranium cast on his arm, and Reed tells him he'll need to wear it for another week so his hand can heal. Of course, Thing feels a bit sad because now he has to wait another whole year before he can turn into his human form again and finally start a proper life with Alicia. But Alicia reminds Ben to look on the bright side. You finally did it. You beat the Hulk, fair and square. Hearing this, Ben stretches his arm with the vibranium cast and feeling it, says with a smile, I did, didn't I? With the best Sunday punch I ever threw in my life. So what do you think? Does this finally settle the debate about who's stronger, Thing or Hulk? Quickly tell me what you think in the comments. And for now, I'll see you guys later.